Hello! Welcome to a Pride Month video. And if you're watching this after June, surprise! Every month is Pride Month now. That's the gay agenda? First the frogs and now the months? Pretty sure that's the agenda. Otherwise, welcome to a very personal video. It's going to be very hard for me to get through, so enjoy. For those unaware, Given is a manga and anime series about a band. However, the boys in the band all happen to be bisexual or gay. If you're as jaded as I am, you're probably thinking, ugh, of course all the boys are gay, typical BL shit. They're probably all sleeping together too. Well, not quite. What makes this series so special is that it's treated more like a realistic romance drama. Hell, the most exciting thing that happens in the anime is a single kiss over halfway through. So where's the appeal? I'd say that for most, it's in the genuine and earnest discussion of sexuality, trauma, and questioning who you thought you were and how to move forward with your new self. Additionally, if you're straight or don't like BL, the way the romance is handled isn't contrived or forced in a way that would dissuade people from watching, regardless of their sexuality. And the same is very much true for how it appealed to me. When I first watched Given, I was still a bit raw over a breakup from the longest and happiest relationship I'd ever had. A relationship that had taught me a lot about myself and made me finally feel happy with who I was in many regards. A relationship I wouldn't have traded for the world. A relationship with another man. If you follow me on Twitch or Twitter, then this probably comes as no surprise to you, but here on YouTube I've only really joked about yandere girls and onesans, so I can see how someone may be a bit surprised by this. The truth is that I'm bisexual, but I didn't always know that. In fact, several friends used to joke that I was the straightest guy they knew. Imagine their surprise when a year later I was dating a man, and that a few years after that, friends would joke about me being the gay friend despite also liking women. In many ways, the same can be, at least, assumed about Uenoyama. Uenoyama is the main character of Given, a gifted guitarist who has found himself starting to get bored and lethargic of playing. One day, while headed to his usual napping spot, he sees a boy, Mafuyu, asleep with a guitar. Pissed off that the boy looks so sad over a broken string, Uenoyama fixes it, tunes it, and strums a simple chord. What he didn't know is that that one chord would change his life forever. Over time, he finds himself developing increasingly complicated feelings for Mafuyu as he starts to teach him how to play and adds him to the band as a vocalist. If Uenoyama had been fully gay, he likely would have had to wrestle with these feelings much earlier in his life. However, if he's bi, he probably would have been able to live up through high school, or college in my case, without ever thinking anything was different because he liked women, just like most men did. But then, you meet someone. You don't know what it is about this person, but you just can't get them out of your head. When you're around them, everything starts to seem exciting and new again. You need to talk with them more, hang out with them, see them smile. As you do this, you're bound to learn more about them, their likes, dislikes, personality, and their past. It's here where things can become tricky.
何なんだこの絵づくみたいな奇妙な感覚
In the case of Uenoyama, he finds out that Mafuyu is actually gay, and that his guitar, that had piqued Uenoyama's interest in the first place, belonged to Mafuyu's ex, who had taken his own life. Finding out something like that forces a near indescribable sensation to well up inside of you. There's this guilt mixed with fury, sickness, and a sadness you just can't seem to place. You need to be around them, but doing so makes you feel like you're going to puke or punch a wall or possibly both.
腹の底がムカムカするっつがなんか叩き壊したくなるっつがおよそ穏やかな感情とは言えないような
You may have noticed by now that the way I've been describing Uenoyama's emotions is more like I'm recounting my own rather than his. And that's because, in many ways, I am. What Given had given me was a sense of solidarity. I was able to see a story play out with emotions and struggles so close to my own experience that I was finally forced to confront the prior 2 years and begin to accept all the ups and downs for what they had been, and know that I wasn't alone in that kind of overwhelming experience. I had lived my whole life as a straight man. That's just what I thought I was. I'd never found a man attractive as a potential partner, so I never really considered being anything else. Then, after a friend added me to a Discord server of his friends back home, one of those guys friended me on Facebook. It was a little strange, but something hit me when that happened. I didn't know what it was, but suddenly I got really nervous. For example, I felt the desperate urge to change my profile picture to an updated and cuter photo of myself. We started texting each other a lot. I often got scared he might ghost me. I waited impatiently between the hours where I'd wake up for classes and his time zone would catch up. I was still straight. I wasn't. But there was just something about this boy that made me want to talk to him as much as I could, play games with him, be on calls with him. Then I found out why he had friended me in the first place. It turned out that he was really in love with our mutual friend, but that friend didn't really feel the same. Said mutual friend, being a really sweet and nice guy, was trying to keep a little distance so as not to make the unrequited feelings hurt more. There was something about the story, though, that just... it hurt me.
結局、蓋をしても中身が消えてなくなるわけはなく、腹の底に溜まったもやは、すでに異臭を放ち始めている。
I thought it was just empathy at first, as I had just started to get out of some unrequited feelings myself that had been making me so horribly depressed that I often spent most nights mentally berating myself. But I started to notice that the feelings weren't just that. There was anger and pain. Hearing the stories of this boy's past made me want to scream. I didn't know what was happening to me. Why did saying goodnight to him make it so my sleep wasn't racked with painful thoughts of myself? Why did seeing him sad make me pissed off at anyone who could have caused his pain? Why did hearing his stories of my friend make me so uncomfortable? How could this boy make me feel this happy, sad, and angry all at once? Then it dawned on me.
好きな人。ああ、これは嫉妬だ。
Realizing what my feelings were was difficult to say the least. Obviously, I'm not homophobic or anything like that, but suddenly having something you were so sure about yourself suddenly change like that, it's hard to deal with, and it only makes those emotions grow to a fever pitch. I was full on in love for the first time, and it was with a man who was in love with one of my best friends. But on the positive side, knowing how I felt let me start to act on and express those emotions more clearly. Thankfully, it wasn't very long until he started to feel the same for me.
上野山くんが好きだよ。
I still remember clearly the first night we said we loved each other. I was crying very hard. And I still remember the next morning when I looked in a mirror and for the first time in my life, I actually liked the person I saw in the reflection. When you're feeling like this, you pretty much can't help but let the emotions be written across your face if someone brings it up. Thankfully, in both my case and Uenoyama's, we both had good friends that understood and were just happy to see us being happy for once, and were more than willing to help us accept who we were.
俺おかしいですか？
全然。何がおかしいんだ？相手が男だから俺のセクシャリティは女志向のはずだみたいな。安心しろよ。
This was actually the first scene I'd ever seen from Given, and the full thing is beyond incredible in terms of what I'd seen from LGBTQ+ representation and discussion in anime. I remember that after I finished the show, I went outside and laid on this big wooden stage on my college campus. I blasted the songs on repeat into my headphones and just watched the tree above me, letting all of the emotions it had revived and made me confront circle around inside of me. Music has always been a huge part of my life and is the thing that can easily make me the most emotional, so when Uenoyama struck that chord, it wasn't just Mafuyu's heartstrings that he strummed. they were mine too. Now, sure, not everything was all roses, and the truth is that very few people from my pre-college days actually know about any of this. As for all the feelings I laid out here, I've never told anyone this. I know it's not some powerful rock number, and trust me, I wish that it was. But, just like Fuyu no Hanashi is for Mafuyu, I hope that this video was able to somehow show anyone my real self. To hope that someone can understand how I felt, and maybe that it can provide somebody with the same kind of solace that Given did for me. And, well, I would have tried to wrap it up here, but between when I first watched the show as it was airing and rewatching it for this video, the movie came out. I watched it, and of course it was another moment of shooting me straight through the heart with exactly what I needed right now. I'm sure it's not surprising to hear me say that dredging up old memories of the only prolonged length of time I considered myself truly happy was really hard, and that writing this script took quite a bit out of me. But in comes Akihiko's story: persistent suffering, inability to let go, and a desperate need to claim that feeling he'd lost, but drowning his pain in any way that he could. All the passion was gone from the things that he truly loved. What it takes is a few friends, some inspiration, and the right words, or lyrics in this case, to realize that it wasn't that he couldn't ever be happy again. He just refused to let himself feel it. Thank you all for watching this. This all means a lot to me, and every single one of you has helped me get here. And to the person that I've been talking about, if you're watching this, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you've done for me. You probably know better than to worry about me, but you don't have to anymore. I'm going to be okay. And thank you, Given, for everything that you've given to me. It's time to let myself be happy again.